If there was a global flood that wiped out all of life on Earth just 4,000 years ago, we would know. There'd be evidence everywhere. Fossils jumbled into flood layers, human remains next to dinosaurs, worldwide sediment deposits. But here's the thing, not only is that evidence missing, what we do find completely contradicts the Noah story. Let's talk about it. The story of Noah's Ark is one of the most famous in the Bible. God floods the earth, saves one righteous man and two of every animal, and starts over. Young Earth creationists claim this actually happened about 4,300 years ago. But if that's true, then geology, biology, archaeology, paleontology, and even linguistics should all bear the scars of that event. So today we're going to walk through 7 major lines of evidence that absolutely crush the idea of a global flood. And spoiler, the Earth does tell a story. It's just not the one from Genesis. So let's start with the rocks. If a global flood covered the Earth in water for a year, we'd expect a single, chaotic layer of mud, sand, and debris everywhere. But instead, we see hundreds of distinct ordered layers of sedimentary rock. These layers were formed over millions of years, some with fossilized soil, others with desert sand dunes, and some even with volcanic ash. And here's the kicker, many of these layers show no sign of disturbance. Floods don't leave neatly stacked strata, they destroy them. So either God pulled off the cleanest catastrophe in history or it never happened. The fossil record is brutal for the Noah's Ark story. Why? Because if all creatures died in the same global event, we'd expect to find a jumbled mess of bones, humans next to trilobites, T-Rex fossils in the same layer as whales. But that's not what we find. Fossils appear in a clear, consistent chronological order from oldest to newest. First, marine invertebrates, then fish, then amphibians, then reptiles, then mammals, finally humans at the top. This pattern spans continents. It matches evolutionary timelines, not a flood. And no, humans never show up in a dinosaur rock despite thousands of digs. If the flood happened, where are the mixed layers? Genesis says the flood covered all the high mountains under the entire heavens with water. Let's talk about that. To cover Mount Everest, you need 8.8 kilometers of water above sea level. That's 3 times more water than currently exists on Earth. So where did it come from? Where did it go? Flood apologists claim fountains of the deep erupted or underground water burst forth. But no model of Earth's geology can support that kind of global deluge. It breaks the laws of physics, plate tectonics, and basic math. Unless we're talking about pure magic, this part is physically impossible. Let's say for the sake of argument, the Ark existed. Noah got 2 of every kind of animal, including polar bears, penguins, kangaroos, pandas, pythons, and penguins. And somehow they all fit on a wooden ship. But even if they did, here's the real problem. After the flood, these animals would need to repopulate the Earth, migrate across oceans, and somehow end up only in their native habitats again. Kangaroos, just Australia. Sloths, just South America. Lemurs, only Madagascar. And there's zero evidence of mass migrations or global species mixing post-flood. That's not biology, it's fantasy. Biology delivers the death blow. If all species were reduced to just 2 individuals, or 7 for clean animals, that would create a massive genetic bottleneck. The result? Inbreeding, mutations, and collapse. But that's not what we see. DNA evidence shows species have deep, diverse genetic histories. For humans, genetic diversity points to a population of at least 10,000 individuals living at the same time, not just 8 survivors on a boat. This is confirmed by mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome data. The Ark isn't supported by genetics, it's obliterated by it. Now here's something wild. According to the Bible, the flood happened around 2300 BCE. But guess what else was happening at that time? Egypt's old kingdom was thriving. The Sumerians were writing poetry. Chinese cultures were farming. These civilizations never stopped. Their records, calendars, and history show no sign of global extinction event. It's as if the flood didn't happen. Because if the entire Earth was underwater for a year, that'd be kind of hard to miss. A lot of people point out that other cultures have flood myths too. That's true, from Mesopotamia to India, flood stories are common. But here's the twist. Shared myths don't mean shared events. Humans have always lived near water, and floods are a universal threat. So it makes sense that early people told stories about gods and floods. That doesn't make the Genesis story historical. In fact, the Noah story seems borrowed from older flood myths, especially the Epic of Gilgamesh. Same structure, same moral, same arc. So what's the conclusion? Every major field of science contradicts the global flood story. Geology shows no flood layers. Paleontology shows ordered evolution, not chaos. Biology shows population continuity, not bottlenecks. And history shows uninterrupted civilization. If the flood happened, the Earth would look radically different. Instead, it looks like Earth. Old, complex, and very much not rebooted 4,000 years ago. So if someone says Noah's Ark is real history, send them this video. And if you want more science versus scripture breakdowns like this, subscribe and turn on the notifications. Drop a comment. What's the wildest part of the flood story that never made sense to you? Start with evidence, end with truth.